Hey guys, this is just a quick video about density, which we're going to be talking about in class today and doing a lab on. So I know this is a review. You guys have learned about density before, but just so you remember, density is basically the mass of an object divided by the volume. And to remember that, people will sometimes call density the heart equation, because if you draw a heart and put a line through it, that's like mass over volume, right? So if that helps you remember density, you can remember I heart density, mass over volume. Usually then, density is going to be in units like grams per milliliter, or it could be kilograms per liter, or grams per centimeter cubed, those sorts of things. All right, so let's talk about how we would find density in a lab. So we're going to write out an example problem, and it may take just a second to write it out, but that's okay. Let's say you measure the mass of an unknown substance to be 40 grams. So we've got the mass, now we need the volume. Then you take the object and drop it in 60 milliliters of water. The water level rises to 72 milliliters. What is the density of the object? Okay, so we know that density is mass divided by volume. Now I've got two volumes here. I have to really understand what's going on. So imagine that I have a beaker like this. It's filled up with water to about 60 milliliters, and then I drop something in there. Obviously the water is going to go up, right? Because I dropped something in there. If I subtract the new measurement of the water from the old measurement, that will actually give me the volume of whatever I dropped in the water. Okay, so to find the density of this object, what I'm going to have to do is take its mass, which is 40 grams, and divide it by the difference of these two volumes. So 72 milliliters minus 60 milliliters. So if I simplify that a little bit, it's 40 grams divided by 12 milliliters. And then I just put that in a calculator, which I'm just grabbing over here. So we would do 40 divided by 12, oops, and that's 3.3333 grams per milliliter is the density of whatever this object was. All right, so that's what we're going to be doing in a lab later today, is finding the density of objects that way. There are some other kinds of problems you could do with density. One that's slightly easier, if I just say, what is the density of an object with a mass of 55 grams and a volume of 78 milliliters. Okay, that's a much shorter problem, but same thing, I just need to do 55 grams over 78 milliliters, divide that and I get 0.705. Okay, so that's how you find density. Now, one last thing, you can use density as a conversion factor. So let's say an object has a density of 2.1 grams per milliliter. What is the volume of a 3.4 gram sample of this object? So what we would need to do here is notice that density is going to be our conversion factor. So we're just going to take our 3.4 grams, and then to use density as a conversion factor, we're just going to put the 2.1 grams down here, and then 1 milliliter can go up here, and then I'll just end up with 3.4 milliliters over 2.1. Divide that, and I'll get 1.62 milliliters. Okay, so the difference between these problems, this one gave me the density, and I had to use it to convert from mass to volume. These other problems were asking me for the density. All right, so hopefully that clears up a few things about density and helps you be able to do the lab.